Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Rachel Gonzalez. I am a recovering perfectionist, just trying to become more like Jesus and live in God's perfect will for my life. Today I'm going to be doing another book recap for the month of February. I did meet my goal of reading 4 books this month, so I wanted to just talk about those books and um, kind of what I thought of them. And I think in the last one I kind of gave something away in one of the books, and so I'm going to really try hard not to do that. But it's hard when you're giving the plot line and I mean, you want to tell about the story and then you kind of might give some hints to things. But anyway, today's Wednesday, and usually I record my videos on Sunday, sometimes Monday. But this week has been extremely crazy because I'm doing testing right now. And with testing, I'm just like, you know, constantly having to get to work early so I can get the buckets out to people. And if you don't know testing, then this really probably doesn't make any sense to you. But basically what my job is right now is state testing for our bilingual students, and it's a lot of kids. It's like over 300 kids that we're testing and trying to coordinate and stuff. So just a lot of stuff going on with that. But I did make a goal that I was going to record a video every week, and by golly, I'm going to do it. So it's Wednesday, and Wednesday is actually the hardest day of the week for our family because it's just the busiest. So I wake up every day at 4:30, and I've been snoozing a little bit more lately, but at 4:30 I pump, and then I work out and then shower. I get myself ready. I get the lunches and everything ready for the kids, and myself and my husband. And then I leave, and Jose actually like gets the kids ready for school and takes them and everything, but I go to work. So then I work all day, obviously, and we usually on Wednesdays have a staff meeting after school, and that will go until 3:45. Then I will finish up a couple things. I'll go pick up the kids. Lately, because I've been so sick of fast food, I've been packing our dinners. So I also am doing that in the morning before I leave for work, packing a cooler, putting everything in the cooler, and then having that in my car for dinner at night. So that's crazy too. And then I get the kids, we go over to the soccer field, which is about a 25-ish minute drive, and we eat dinner there. We watch our niece do her soccer practice, and then at 6:15, Brady, who is 3 years old, has soccer practice at that time. And his practice is 1 hour long, which I think is crazy for 3-year-olds. But we chose to do soccer, and we're doing it, but it is a little bit crazy. So then actually on Wednesdays, Jose has his Bible study with his men's group, and so he leaves from the soccer field to go to church. So like tonight, he left, and then I finished watching practice. I've got Ellie and JJ with me, and then we pack up and come home. And then I usually like to get Ellie, changed. So I like change her in the back of the car, her diaper, and put on her pajamas. So that way, if she falls asleep in the car, then I can just transfer her. Tonight, surprisingly, she did not fall asleep in the car. So when we got home, I had to, really get her down, which she goes down pretty easy. So it's not too bad. But it depends on if the boys are being loud or not, if they're coming in. They've gotten better now where they don't really come into the room anymore. So that's good. But after I got her down, then I gave both the boys a bath, got them dressed, teeth brushed, all that kind of stuff. And then I've been doing like where I lay with each of them for like 3 to 5 minutes each, and just kind of talk to them about their day, pray with them, things like that. That has been probably the biggest game changer lately for our kids' behavior. I don't really see them very often. That sounds bad, but like I don't get to see them like during the week as much as they need, because I'm at work, and sometimes I leave before they wake up. And then like last night, I didn't get home until after they were in bed. And so it's just really hard. It's a hard season right now, and they were really struggling, but they're doing better now with me having that little one-on-one time with them, usually at night. And then surprisingly, they stayed in bed and they did not come out. but then I have to like get all the dishes in the sink and wash all the bottles and the pump parts and all that stuff, because usually Jose does that, but he's not here on Wednesdays, so I like to get that done before he gets home. So now it's 9 o'clock at night, and I was like, you know what? I want to get this video recorded because I said I was going to do it. So, um, Jose will probably be home in like 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll go to bed and get up and do it all again tomorrow. So, that's kind of a rundown of our Wednesday and how today has gone. I'm wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt because today was superhero day at school for me. And that's another thing, is that this week, Brady and Ellie go to the daycare and they are having dress up days. And then JJ is in pre-K and his school is also having dress up days, which are different than the daycare's dress up days. And then my school is also doing dress up days, and those are different than any of the kids. So we're all dressing differently. My husband's trying to figure out, okay, well, who's got what today? Somebody's got pajama day. Somebody's got crazy. I think today was Wacky Wednesday for Brady and Ellie. So it's been a week, but spring break is next week. So we're very excited about that. And I will be very excited to be home with my kids, to get to spend time with them. So anyway, let's jump right into the book recap. I read 4 books in the month of February. 2 of them I like read on Kindle, and then 2 of them I listened to on audiobook. So I'm not going to lie about audiobooks because I do believe that those are reading books because I'm taking the information and I'm hearing it. So I count it. My husband would not, but I do. So I finally jumped on the Fourth Wing train. I had been wanting to read it for a while because I've seen so many people reviewing it and saying it's just so amazing. And that was top of my list. I got like a free 3-month trial for audiobook or Audible for audiobooks. So I decided to listen to Fourth Wing, and it was kind of slow to get into at first for me. It just felt very much like a mix between like Divergent and Hunger Games. And while I like that kind of dystopian future sort of thing, it just felt redundant to me. It felt like it was very, very similar. And then also because there's a guy who is kind of, I don't want to say like the bad guy, but he's like going to be the kind of antagonist of the story. And that relationship between the main character and this guy felt very reminiscent of A Court of Thorns and Roses. So it just felt like all these different books that I had read like kind of meshed into one, which again, it felt redundant, but there were some things that were different, characteristic just for this book. So I like books like this where you kind of find yourself like rooting for the bad guy or the antagonist. And I love when like people get proved wrong. So that I think is a good element of this story. I will say that because it's like kind of fantastical, there's some words and things that like I just don't know or I don't get. And so it takes a while for you to really get into those, like to understand what they're talking about sort of thing. And so then it kind of it makes it a little bit harder for you to imagine it in your mind. But overall, I would say that I would give this book like a 4.5 stars. The half a star would just be like because I feel like it's been done before a little bit, but I really did love the story. I'm excited to read the next one. Actually, today, my next credit for Audible came out, so I will be getting Iron. I think it's Iron something. Iron Flame, I think is the name of it. So I'll be listening to that on my way to the beach this weekend, and I'm really excited for that. And then the second book that I read this month was called The Brave Learner, and it was Finding Everyday Magic in Homeschool Learning and Life by Julie Bogart. And this book I read because I'm trying to read more about just like homeschooling in general, like different philosophies on homeschooling. I think it's going to be really hard for me to go from working in the school system to then doing like some kind of unschooling or like, no curriculum type thing. I'm going to try really hard not to spend money on curriculum because I feel like I can make up a lot of things on my own, especially like centers and things like that. But I just am kind of trying to get ideas. So this was the first homeschool book that I read, and basically it just has like really great tips and tricks for like starting to homeschool and being a homeschool family. My favorite part of this book was when she talks about how, sometimes you have a plan or you have a rhythm, right? Or like you really want to have a rhythm over having a like structured, rigid schedule. And in my mind, I kind of already have something for that. But she talks about this day where like she was like, you know what? They were learning about the Pony Express, and she goes, okay, well, let's just scrap all the plans. And the kids were like, let's make our own Pony Express. So she calls all these other homeschool moms in the neighborhood, and they all just scrap their plans for the day. They go outside, and the kids literally spent hours just like running around being a Pony Express. And the thing that I love about that is that there is nothing in a book or watching a video or anything that is going to solidify what the Pony Express is, like actually making a Pony Express and doing it, right? And so I think that a lot of the stuff that she talks about is just, you know, be willing to let your kids take the lead. Follow their impulses, follow what they want to do because you're going to get a lot out of that, especially like they will get a lot out of that. And then you get to have those memories, and like it's not just like fighting tooth and nail for your kids to do work. It's like this is actually fun. It's family time together, it's learning together. So I thought that was really cool. It really gave me like an intense desire to start homeschooling tomorrow, especially with all the stuff that's going on at school right now and just like testing that I don't really agree with. So I'm excited to get going on that. This book I'd give 4 stars. I think that she kind of tells like just it's really just a story about her family and how they homeschooled and kind of her life as a homeschool mom, and so that's interesting. But I would have liked maybe a little bit more like of what their schedule looked like and what curriculums they used that didn't work or that they did like, and how they eventually ended up with what they ended up doing. And so I think that there could have been a little bit more to the story, but I thought for the first homeschool book that I read, it was really good. Um, the next book I read was a Freida McFadden book. I love Freida McFadden. If you have not read her books, you should. This one was called The X, and in true fashion, I mean, it was just full of twists and turns, and it was a little less like a lot of her books are like very like psychological thrillers, just like totally sometimes kind of dark. So this one was a little bit less dark, but you still had that crazy twist at the end. Basically it's about this doctor, and he has an ex-girlfriend, and then now he has a new girlfriend, and so you're getting basically a back and forth of the ex and the new girlfriend. And then at the very end of the book you kind of find out that there's like other people in play, which you know I wasn't anticipating. There was like one girl who I was like, okay, she's definitely like in the mix somehow, but I don't really know how. um and then it made sense. So I think that when they got to the twist, I was really looking for just like holes in the plot, because I was like, what did I miss? Like how did I miss this, or this, and like didn't they say this thing? And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna check, and um so I think mostly I would say I'm going to give it 5 stars because I could not put the book down. Like I probably finished it in 2 days. Um, and that's with like 3 kids at home and the demanding job right now that I have and stuff. And I read it, super quick. Um, but it was because I really just wanted to know what happened and who was who and what was what and stuff. So um, I really liked it a lot. um, so the last book that I read this month, and this was an audiobook, I read The Awe of God, and it is The Astounding Way A Healthy Fear of God Transforms Your Life by John Bevere. This is actually a book that Jose and I are both reading, or read in the month of February, because we were reading it with our Bible study groups. So like I go to Bible study on Tuesdays at the church and he goes on Wednesdays. So, and then both of the women and men were reading this book at the same time. I liked that we were reading the same book at the same time so we could kind of like talk about it. Um, but it wasn't my favorite book. I could tell you that. There was a lot of things about like the fear of God that I just don't understand. And I found myself like a little bit lost at some points. Um, I also have to say though, even though it's Lent and I have been giving up social media and I've been trying to be more in the Word and praying more and things like that, I have felt a little bit distant from God in this time. And so I don't know what's really going on there. So I think that this book was just kind of like a little foreign to me in this season where I was like, I can't really feel the fear of God at the moment. Um, so I don't know. I feel like, usually during Lent, I'm like, I feel very close to God and I just don't feel that way right now. But I also feel like I guess I'm trying to be like just very, I'm trying to believe that like everything that's going on right now, like with our house and with, potentially quitting my job and homeschooling and all these things, that they're going to fall into place the way that God is going to orchestrate them and not really be asking for the things that I want. And so I think that sometimes that because I'm not like crying out to God, I feel like I'm not in his presence as well as I usually am. Because a lot of the things right now are just like praise, which feels good, but it also it just feels kind of distant. It feels like, okay, well, things are going really well. So thank you, God. Um, so anyway, I think, this book, there's like a study guide that goes with it and there's questions at the end of each chapter. And I definitely didn't give enough time to doing that with like, working long days and then also trying to like spend time with my kids and my husband and, get enough sleep and shower sometimes. So I didn't do all of that. So I definitely would like to maybe go back and kind of read some of those questions. We did a lot of them at our Bible study, but in that sense, it's like then we're just discussing it. And so I like getting other people's perspective and things like that. But this book, I'd probably give like a three stars. Um, I'm not recommending it really, but it was okay. Um, and I feel bad saying that because it's, a Christian book and I would love to recommend it and stuff, but it just wasn't for me. It wasn't the best. And I think that Jose and I, we did have some good discussions and stuff, but we both kind of felt the same way about it. So, um, but those are the four books that I read this month. And like I said, I'm going to start now reading, Iron, Iron Flame, I think is what it's called. And then I also am about to finish this book called, um, The Last Phone Booth in Manhattan, which is actually really good, and I can't wait to review that next month. Um, but that's pretty much it for me today. I am going to sign off now and wait for Jose to get home, and then we're gonna hit the hay and hit the ground running again tomorrow. So, thank you all so much for sticking around. And I know right now, if you are watching, it's because you have subscribed to my channel, and I really appreciate that. So thank you. Um, and feel free to like, share, subscribe, and then I'll see you next week. Bye.